Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
All right, awesome. Well, today we're going to unpack a story that, well, frankly, could really change the way you shop online.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're talking about the US Postal Service, the USPS.
Yeah.
They've decided to just, stop all packages coming in from China and Hong Kong.
Wow.
It's a big deal, right? Think about all the stuff we get from those places.
Yeah, especially like all the e-commerce, all those deals.
Exactly. It's going to be super interesting to see how this plays out. So, to help us navigate this whole thing, we're going to be looking at a CNN article. It's actually called US Postal Service Suspends Incoming Parcels from China and Hong Kong.
Catchy.
Right. So let's jump right in. I guess the first thing, what's going on here?
Right. So the USPS, they haven't really given a specific reason.
Really?
Yeah, they're just saying until further notice, which, is a little bit unsettling.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And especially for companies like, Shein and Temu.
Absolutely. Yeah. Their whole business model is built on shipping from those regions.
Totally, yeah. Okay, so USPS is putting the brakes on packages, but they're still delivering letters.
Right. Yeah. For now, just the packages.
Interesting. Okay, so this news, it comes right after some pretty big changes in trade policies, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few days before this happened, President Trump signed an executive order ending the de minimis exemption.
Ah, yes, the de minimis exemption. That sounds a little complicated.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. But basically, this exemption allowed goods under $800 to come into the U.S. without any import taxes.
Okay, so no taxes.
No taxes, duty-free. And that made it a lot easier for those online retailers, especially from China and Hong Kong, to bring in tons of goods at super low prices.
I see. That's how we get those amazing deals. Okay, so that's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. And to add even more to it, today, February 4th, 2025, a new 10% tariff on all Chinese imports goes into effect.
Wow, so it's like a double whammy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And remember that congressional report from June 2023, it showed that nearly half of all the packages coming in under that de minimis exemption were from China.
So this new tariff is basically adding a tax to all those goods.
Exactly. So yeah, those super cheap prices might be a thing of the past.
Okay, wow. That's huge. And of course, China's not just going to sit back and take this, right?
Right. They've retaliated. They've hit the U.S. with their own tariffs. They're targeting things like coal, LNG. That's liquefied natural gas, by the way.
Right, right.
A big energy source for the U.S.
Absolutely, yeah.
They've also imposed some export controls on metal products and technologies, making it harder, more expensive for the U.S. to get these crucial materials.
So they're hitting back strategically.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow. And as if that wasn't enough, they've also added a couple of American companies to their unreliable entities list.
Right. Illumina and PVH Group.
Illumina, that's a biotech, right?
Yeah, a big player in biotech. And PVH Group, they're a fashion giant.
Okay, so what happens when you're on that list? What does it even mean?
Well, basically it means China doesn't trust them. They might face more scrutiny, delays at customs, maybe even bans on doing business in China altogether. It's a big blow.
Yeah, for sure. So lots of tension here. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, President Trump announces he's not in a rush to talk with Xi Jinping.
Right. Remember, just yesterday, it seemed like there might be some peace talks on the horizon.
Yeah, totally.
But now, well, it seems like the U.S. might be digging in for a longer fight, which isn't good for anyone.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so let's break this down for our listeners. We've got the USPS suspension, possible delays for all our online orders.
Right.
Then we have the end of the de minimis exemption and new tariffs from both sides, which could lead to higher prices on pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just about higher prices. Imagine waiting weeks, months even, for something you ordered online, only to find out it's stuck in customs.
Oh, the worst.
Will that change your online shopping habits? Will you be willing to pay a little more for things made closer to home?
That's a really interesting point. It makes you think about how much we rely on global trade for everything.
Yeah.
We've gotten so used to instant gratification, rock bottom prices, we might not even realize how much we depend on these complex, sometimes fragile global supply chains.
That's exactly it. So, as you navigate this new world of tariffs, trade wars, shipping delays, ask yourself, what are you going to do differently? Will you look for alternatives to Chinese goods? Will you pay more attention to where your purchases come from?
Yeah, it's a moment to really rethink our shopping habits.
Right, and think about the long-term impact of our choices.
On the global economy.
Exactly, and on our own wallets.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It was fascinating and a little bit scary, to be honest.
It was my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep thinking critically and stay informed.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.